don't even see him much, I just hear his voice. You know, half of the music videos that are out there, they're not him. It's his lyrics, his voice, but the content's not him. Michael, I'll just sit back, mate, and watch what's happening and hope he manages to turn the corner, mate. Get him in his bed and let the two of them, mate, and make something of themselves. It's going to be hard for him now, you know. You all think that the music's going to be good for him. It's going to make him. Materialistically, he'll be sound, you know, but remaining free from prison, not breaching his license, you know, won't slip, lad, and his enemies will report him. His enemies will be reporting him for nothing, trying to get him breached, saying he's been in this area, making threats, or just ringing 999. I've just seen Mazza on a Suron, just all this little daft shitty intelligence, because he's a gun nominal. If you don't know what a gun nominal is, basically it's an individual that's been arrested with firearms and has got connections to gangs. They make them a gun nominal and they put them in bands, I think. So you can be a gold level gun nominal. And that's probably what the kid's going to be on. So that's what they're doing with them all these days. And they'll have them on crazy license conditions, and I mean crazy ones, because it's not just him. When you're gang affiliated, while you're in custody, that gang doesn't stop its process. So, how long did he get? 11 years. So he's been out the picture for 6 years, but the gang's still been processing, and the gang's still being active, and the gang's still been committing violence and participating in drug dealing. And although he hasn't, the intelligence means he's involved in it all. Why? Because he's part of that gang, he's affiliated. And that's what loads of these lads don't understand. Just because you're in jail doesn't mean they're not working on you. The 5-0 are still working on you. That's why you have mapper boards. So the likes of people like myself, high risk of re-offending, you get placed on mapper levels. Majority of gun nominals like Mazza, Wes Brown, Danny, anyone in custody up and down the country, they will have mapper boards held about them every 6 months whilst they're in custody, whilst they're on licence, and then whilst they're on the at-risk period, where they're not on licence no more, but there's still an at-risk period, and you're still being monitored every 6 months by a mapper board if you're mapper 3. So he's going to be in a look. His situation's 10 times different than mine. Completely. Everyone's is. The only similar thing with anyone that goes to prison is the institutions. The process, the individual process, it's all different. Everyone handles it differently. Everyone copes different. Everyone establishes themselves in the prison differently. Because when you're getting long sentence, it's not like a little 6 months. You can just run round, get your head down, be mad, get out. When you get double figures, you've got to integrate yourself into the establishment. And it's hard. Why? Because you've got people that have been on that wing for 20 years. Sometimes you're going on wings. When you're being a knobhead in prison, when you're trying to beat the system, which you never can, they always put you in establishments that you shouldn't be in. But because you're being said, they just beat heads back and send you to a rough arse gaff. So sometimes you're landing on wings where no one's touched that wing for 2 or 3 years. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? So you'll have wings in prison where the faces haven't changed for a year or two, and then all of a sudden you're just landing on this wing with 59 regulars. You're the stranger, and every one of them are like, who's this? And 30 of them are finding out your name, going in the cell and getting on a mobile phone. Can you clear this kid? This kid's sweet. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's just scatty for you, mate. It's scatty. The situations that you get put into in prison, and you've just got to deal with them, and you don't even consider them because you've got too much. You've got other concerns. Do you understand what I mean? The minute you go in jail, you've got concerns coming out your. You know, when you're out of jail, you're not considering all. No, the minute you go into a prison, you're considering everything. Everything. Hey. Even stupid things like, wow, I need to be on good terms with my birth for the get-go, or I'm getting no visits. Can't be expecting your ma to come up every week if you've still got one. You understand what I mean? Just little shit you're considering. When you're outside, you just go and bang another bear behind your bird's back, wouldn't you? Not me, you. Yes, Grancy. Jordan. Anyone that's been to prison will tell you that Scouse gaff, lad. It's like being... You know, years ago, mental patients got sent to mental hospitals. But because there's only so many mental hospitals and they're all full, the overflow goes into prisons, and you can see it, and it's contagious. It's not naturally contagious, it's like forced contagious, if you understand what I mean. So look, you can be on a wing and there's 5 kids on that wing whose heads have gone, and they've all got mad habits. You know, they don't sleep. They'll sleep all day and stay awake all night with the telly blasting. And you'll have him in the far corner causing murder because his neighbour's trying to get asleep. And he can't because his telly's... He's probably got his head down and left his telly blasting. The neighbour next door's trying to get his head down because he's got a work in the morning in prison. And he's fuming. Because he's fuming, it's like a chain reaction. The whole jail starts, the wing starts erupting. The night cocky, you hear the night cocky going to where the telly is and going, bah, 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 bah. Lower your telly or I'll turn the lecky off. Eventually they just shut the lecky off outside the cell. Right? But that's only Monday night, and that's only 1 of 5. Tuesday night, the weirdo down there starts doing it, little crazy habit, what is it? Coming to the door and making chicken sounds or something. So you'll be on your bed at 12:30 at night, trying to drop off into your sleep, and someone will go, cock-a-doodle-oo, out your door, dead far, like you're in a farm. And he won't stop for hours. And he'll give you 10 minutes like he's having a drink and you think, thank for that. And then he'll kick back in, cock-a-doodle-oo, all night. The whole wing's going off its barnet, causing murder. And that's just Tuesday night. And we're only 2 in, still got 3 to go. Do you understand what I'm getting at? And that's every week. So when you're straight-headed in that environment, you're ending up... I don't give who you are. That's why 80% of the prison system's on drugs, because they cannot handle the mental health in there, lads. It's hard work, especially since that spice kicked in. Overnight, the prison system developed about 10,000 schizophrenics. Overnight. Just like it did with the heroin in the 80s. Heroin in the 80s. Why? In prison? Because everyone was smoking cannabis and getting punished. And they were getting closed visits, and they were getting 6 months added to the sentence, and they were getting the gym took off them, and they were getting put on basics, and heroin popped up, bam. They didn't know what it was. It just had similar effects to cannabis. They all got on it. Why? Because it didn't come back on piss tests. So they wouldn't lose the visits. They wouldn't lose the gym. They wouldn't be put on basic. All that magic. So overnight, everyone had to go with this heroin, not having a clue what it was. Again, overnight, the prison system created 10,000 habits, 10,000 addictions overnight, and 9,000 of them was released with that addiction into your communities. You know, prison's not good. It's meant to be protecting the public. It's creating killers. It's what prison does. You look at most of the little killers that's going to prison, half of them have been in the YP system before they've gone there. It's like the country's creating killers. Honest to God, amongst the youth. You've seen how sick they're getting. Haven't you? Don't just look around you, open your eyes, but just don't focus on your... I'm seeing more. Because I'm living in Birmingham, but I've got my interest in Liverpool. Does that make sense? So you, who've got no interest out of Liverpool, you're just seeing the mad that's happening in Liverpool, and you think it's just like a Liverpool thing. Whereas Birmingham's the equivalent, and so's Manchester, and so's every city up and down the country. You've got kids killing adults all over the place. Like I was saying 5 years ago, this is what's going to happen in the future. Up and down this country, you have got grown men, grown women, and kids being killed by kids. It's equal on the other foot. I'm not saying it's not. You know, you've got adults to children doing the same, vice versa. But the point I'm making is, yeah, look at that incident in Wales. Prime example, 13-year-old girl goes into school, does a pupil, and 2 adults. Gets charged with attempted murder. 13-year-old. Look at the kids that are getting lifed off. Look at young Ava White. Look at the lad, 13, 14. And there's loads more that we don't hear about in Liverpool or the Northwest. Why? Because it's all south, and that's how they keep the fear factor low, by not sharing. They give us a national news as if we're finding out everything what's happening in the country, when in reality we're not. You've got the regional news, which will keep you informed of what's going on in your area, but even then they're talking about that. Do you understand what I mean? If you're on the streets, you know the level. You know the violence that's out there. If you're not on the streets, you haven't got a clue. And that's the bottom line. If you're affluent and you've got 2 jobs and you're living in an half-decent area, you're not experiencing the violence that our kids are. And adults are meant to show kids how to live boss lives. And all you've got is adults committing acts of violence in front of kids all over right across the board. And you've got people encouraging the kids to be aggressive. You're encouraging your kids to be fighters before lovers. It's only going to end one way, isn't it?